1,000 times harder. 1,000 times harder.
All right, I'm gonna tweet it right now.
I'll just repost your tweet.
Dude, what is hold on. There you are. All right, just post it. What is going on, peeps? All right, we are recording, good to go. Oh,
All right. How's everybody doing? Good to be back. How's the vacation? Did I catch any gay frogs? I did. I caught a whole. I have a colony going on in my backyard of gay frogs. I was actually kind of upset though. I was supposed to go meet up with Grime, and his wife was sick, so we ended up getting a chance to meet up. And
damn.
I'm stupid. Yeah, it was a bummer. I love seeing that guy. Um, but shit happens. We took all three kids to Disney, which is insane, stupid. It's not even a vacation really, but yeah. So anyways, guys, I want to go over a couple things, just do a quick workshop. I'm trying to be more consistent with these and doing this. It seems like Monday nights are good for my schedule at least to do this kind of stuff. Just to go over some what I'm seeing on the options flow. And one thing I do want to touch on with you guys is the fact that earnings flow, or excuse me, flow in general can be helpful. I think it's good to have, identify some trade setups and whatnot. But when you have earnings that looks like this, where you have just a slew of these big names coming through, it makes the options flow incredibly messy. And even if it's not a direct, let's just say, AMD earnings flow or something like that, there's going to be so much sympathy flow for other names that are related to that it makes it difficult. And I just want to preface this workshop with that, saying like, I'm going to go over a couple things that I saw today that I thought was kind of interesting. But I just want to preface that I have seen these names. Like this is a good example. This is the first one on my list for, at least from an options flow standpoint, was this Roku's that these guys came in, and I think it was 950K, and I ended up putting in these weekly puts here. Um, so they're buying the 11-1, which are weekly $73 puts, so pretty decently out of the money. Um, just in terms of reading flow, I mean, I'm in Central Time, so these came in about an hour before close. And these guys came in, and you can see the IV is increasing on each line. And these yellow lines here essentially are their opening orders, which means that they've exceeded the open interest. If you pull up the open interest on here, there's only 145 on the open interest. So when I look at these tomorrow morning, I'm assuming that this is going to be, 260 something, or 2,600 rather, on the open interest, because this is pretty much straight buying here. So I'm not a huge fan of looking at charts before earnings. I mean, if something's coiled really tightly, then potentially maybe you can catch a big move on it and catch the catalyst if it's a really big one. But I don't really feel like I ever have an edge when it comes to trading earnings in general. I've had good luck, selling premium around bigger names flow, or excuse me, bigger names earnings, but I just don't feel like I don't really play it a lot. I just don't feel like I have an advantage. Um, Roku's been super tight in this range here. It's basically, I mean, it had a pretty big gap up candle. I don't remember what this catalyst was on September 12th. This pretty big candle 5% candle here, and it's basically been consolidating for basically a month. I mean, one, two, three, four, basically a month. It's been consolidating or so in this kind of range here. So I would anticipate that this has a pretty big move. I don't even know what the implied is on this, but from an option flow standpoint, it's definitely notable when you see basically $1 million in weekly puts on something that has earnings. So I think that's the top of the list. Another name that caught my attention today was MQ. Is this the one I got the alert for? Let me see here. I got alert on this today. Let's see, maybe I didn't. MQ is another one that I gave this to, I want to say it's in here somewhere. Yeah, I posted these today. Yeah, they came in, but these guys came in here on 10/8, and they bought these November 15th $5 calls, and this thing has gone like nuclear. It had like a 9% day. I mean, that's a hell of a candle. And these guys are printing money at this point. I do like this weekly. Now, would I chase this? Probably not. I mean, I would like to see this consolidate a little bit more now with this giant move, but that's typically what you'll see with these big moves. You'll see these big players try to get positioned. Um, but again, this is pretty good. These guys they were pretty busy today, actually, in this name. You can see they came in and bought these $5 calls. Again, even though they're in the money, that's not bearish by any means. They came in and purchased these. They spent 254K, and then it looks like they came in later in the day and they added on, they tacked on their position a little bit here too. Potentially, we don't know until we check the OI, but that caught my eye. And then also these $6 calls, which are out of the money for December. I don't know when this thing has earnings, but I can check. Let's see. But yeah, November 4th, so those will catch earnings. But I mean, really big consolidation for weeks on end and then a nice breakout on this. So those guys that came in a while ago are really printing money now. They're doing pretty good. And I think that this consolidation on this name is interesting. So that was one of the names that caught my attention in the options flow today that doesn't have immediate earnings, at least not this week. Let's see here. EQNR was another name that had some options flow on that today. I did get an alert on that. So the nice thing about our black box system, again, if anybody's interested or wants more information on how to use this, send me a DM. But I did get an alert today for these April calls. It was about 300K in premium in these. So they're coming in and they're buying these. It's weird. I mean, these strikes are weird. $27.71 strike for April. Again, about 300K overall in this chain today. I was looking at this before I started streaming on here. I don't know how I feel about this chart. It's not terrible, but it's not super compelling in terms of being ultra bullish. I mean, they're buying a little bit of time on these, so they could be playing some earnings or whatever. Pretty clear. It looks like they've had some pretty good support around this $25, $24 area, somewhere basically in this area down here. And then you have this big downtrend line here. Still below a lot of the moving averages, still below the 200-day, 50-day, 20, and then the 9 and 20 EMAs. For anybody's curious what the MAs, the moving averages on my chart are, I always use the 9 and the 20 on the EMAs, and then the 20, 50, and 200 on the FMAs. EMAs are more of a shorter term moving average, and then the SMAs are good for longer term, daily, weekly kind of time frames. But I don't know how I feel about this. But the thing about options flow is that it will put your eyes in the right spot and say maybe this has something big coming. I don't even know I have no idea what EQNR does, but not a bad area to risk off of if you want to even buy shares of this in this $24 to $25 range and kind of just see how it works. I mean, these guys were targeting 27, so I still think that might have a little more room to run, but again, not super compelling today. Okay. Let me see what else I got here. CLF did have some calls on it today. I believe I had an alert on this. Let me see. I can't even see. Let me back out of here. Another one that reports soon. I mean, so many of these names, it's like these guys are just positioning for earnings. These $14 calls they get hit today. I don't know how much premium they had. Let's see. Sometimes I'll cross these guys in my Discord know that I cross reference sometimes to unusual whales to see what see what it looks like on their end. This is my preferred system, at least for live flow, but sometimes if I want to dig into something a little bit deeper, I do like some of the features from Unusual Whale. I think it's a pretty decent system. So there's about 400K in premium in these. Again, I had a nice day today. I think 4%. I was looking at this earlier. Yeah, 4.5%, which is pretty big for a name like this. Um, I don't think this looks too bad. I think that it's starting to get above. It's cleared. It's back above the 200, or excuse me, back above the 20, back above the 50, and kind of riding these EMAs here. So I don't think that it looks bad. There's a little bit of a volume pocket here on this end here. The steel names, I think they make steel, right? Some of these things are a little bit harder to trade here, but I don't really dislike this setup. But again, this thing has earnings coming up on November 4th, which is next week. So something to keep in mind. Maybe they're playing a run up to earnings. You really don't know that until after the fact. But I don't hate this. I also don't love it. I was doing a scan earlier tonight. I didn't see anything I really liked. That kind of matches some options flow and some charts. But Cores, CORZ was another name that came across my radar today. They were pretty persistent in these. Is this what I got alert on? Yeah, these 1350s. I know a lot of members in the chat had their eyes on this, and this is starting to finally break out. I mean, this thing has been really strong all year. So I know this had a nice breakout above this basically $12 or $13 level, and it's now starting to move into price discovery with some pretty decent buying down here. So I would anticipate this continues. I don't know when this thing reports. Oh, not for a while. So this is actually a pretty not a bad setup. I think that the thing that you always have to check when you're looking at options flow is does it cover upcoming earnings, right? Because that kind of skews the risk to reward, right? And what the options flow is telling you. But that's not bad. They're in the money, which isn't. I don't mind that. It's not bad. I think that this is something. This is definitely a name to look for on pullbacks for sure. It's been a pretty smooth trader all year for the most part. Wolf was another name. I know that Patrick had this on his watch list today. I like this a lot. These guys do report November 6th. But this is a pretty good. This is kind of like your bread and butter. Kind of the idea that you've seen it set up a million times and you're going to take that every single time. Basically, you get big gap up and consolidation into this flag right into this 9 EMA. I mean, this is a really nice setup that's consistent. And I think this will pay out more times than it won't. And this did have nothing crazy on the options flow today. This little order stood out to me. I did post this in the chat. This next week's 1450s, with 100K in premium. Not crazy, but I think that it was something that we were all kind of looking at today too. So I think this kind of 9 EMA level. You could even use today's low as a decent area to risk off of in this. And this base on this is pretty impressive. It's just starting to finally, I don't know. It's kind of hard to trade a chart like this where it's just been down. I mean, basically just been down for years at this point. But I don't think it makes a bad trader. I think that this is starting to look constructive, at least on a daily time frame. So, and that flow is interesting too. So it doesn't, they don't report until the 6th. So actually this does cover earnings. So Affirm was another name that I did like. I've been kind of watching this. Last time I did a stream, AFRM was one of the names that we talked about. I know that they came in, let's see, last time I did a stream was on a Monday. So they came in on one of these 2 days. I think it was this one here, this big candle, and they're buying like $75. I bet you I could find it if I think I posted it on Twitter. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, let me see here. Yeah, I mean, just this day, I mean, they had a lot in this name, and these whales will chase these big moves. They'll chase a, you know, 4.5, 7% day, whatever it ended up having. Um, I still think this doesn't look bad. I was kind of disappointed. I was watching it all day. I know we had quite a few volume alerts on this, but it seemed like there was some pretty heavy sellers in this throughout the day. Let me just put it on a smaller time frame. You know, yeah, we kept seeing these big sell candles throughout the day. I think I've gotten two or three alerts on this from the volumes scanner throughout the day. So it never really showed a lot of strength. So I never really wanted to enter it, but I thought it looked okay on this this kind of little, you know, this little wedge that it's working on right here. I was hoping it opened up really strong today, and it was trying to get over these moving averages, but never really gave a lot of strength. Again, I don't hate this name. I think there were some pretty good options on this. These 11, 8, $50 calls with 130K in premium is pretty decent. These guys did come in, you know, half hour before close, and then these 12 sticks, $44 calls came in as well. What else do we have on this? 11-1, some weeklies, some smaller size on these, but I you know, I'd like to see this kind of show a little bit more strength. I don't really like that daily candle per se. It's coming into this 50-day right here, so this could be a decent area to see if we get some maybe a gap down into support and see how we react off that. But I'm just keeping this on my watch list for now, just because of you know, the bigger picture on this. You know, when you kind of zoom out on a larger time frame, you know, some of these fintech names have some really nice bases that they're trying to break above. I really think that on this name, $50 is the level to break. You know, this $50 level, right? You know, you can see that we had trouble here, trouble here, trouble here, here, here. I mean, it's a pretty clear resistance, but I have a feeling with that once that breaks with conviction, it's gonna go nuts. It's gonna probably go and do what it wants to do. So I think this is probably a reasonable name to keep on your watch list. And even, you know, I think that even owning shares in this isn't reasonable, isn't unreasonable. Let me see here. Yeah, I tried buying shares off on this candle here. This it had a gap down with some news, and it was kind of originally gapped down into this 9 EMA, but it ended up closing below it, so I cut the position. So I just just keeping an eye on this for now. And yeah, so the only other name that I wanted to cover before I take a look at the chat was let me pull this up. RCL. So this was I think they report tomorrow morning, I want to say, don't they? Let me see. Yeah, Tuesday, October 29th in the morning. So um here. So what was interesting is that these guys came in, again, I'm in Central Time, so this is 40 minutes before the close. And they came in with some pretty good size on these. They were coming in 11-1, 190. Let me see. Yeah, this they had 400K in weekly puts, which is interesting. It's that's definitely notable, obviously, with you know with earnings and it being a weekly expiration, and it's also really out of the money. I mean, 190 isn't even close. I mean, if I wanted to short this, I would have probably taken a little bit closer to the money, but you know maybe they're expecting a bigger move down. But the fact they were coming and they were sweeping these into the close is definitely notable considering they report the next morning. So, you know, with the way this options flow works with earnings and everything, this is probably going to gap up 12% or whatever, and these guys will get screwed. So that's why I don't really I don't really play options flow really on earnings. I just don't think it's a good risk to reward personally. So let me see here. Yeah, that EQNR, the monthly looks pretty. I'm looking at the chat now, man, Rev. I like that monthly chart you posted. I think that like I said, that 24, $25 level is a decent area to risk off of. You know, it's if it fails there, it's going to be pretty evident. But I don't think it's a bad area to start building a position in today too. Um, VFC they slammed calls. Did they? How was the report on VF? Did they report today? Let's see. Oh yeah, I mean just massive, 22% after hours. Yeah, I didn't even. And the nice thing about our black box system that is that it will filter. Like I won't get alerts for earnings flow. Like if something has earnings coming up, that just it'll be omitted from my alerts page. I mean, I could still view it in the main flow channel, but I mean, I didn't even look at this today. I was kind of, trying to keep my eyes on things that weren't reporting, but clear. I mean, this is pretty clear for anybody that's interested in how options flow works. Is that this is pretty clear put selling. So this is a bullish bet. These guys are selling these 11.8, $18 puts. So these are actually they're selling in the money puts and collecting a little bit more premium. They came in, they started selling them at the bid at $1.54, and they proceeded I mean, straight all through the morning. These are all like really quick succession. They came in at 9:47. I mean, this was all within what, 30 seconds, a minute, basically, that they sold all these puts to open, which is selling puts is a bullish bet, guys. And I've said this a million times, but for anyone that's new, that's a really good indicator of bullishness is when I see lots of puts being sold. But again, some nice lines in here too. These VFC 11.1, 17.50. So, these guys it seems to get they're going to get paid tomorrow morning. But I always feel like earnings flow is always a little bit of a gamble in my opinion. Let's see. Anything on SLV? Yeah. The yeah, SLV is I don't really that's obviously an ETF. I feel like I have better luck trading the options flow around the miners, like the silver and gold miners. I feel like that's a pretty I like that a little bit better, and those miners can go like crazy. I mean, the move that we've had on silver is actually really impressive over the last, year or so. Just looking at this kind of this base. I mean, I've never really had good luck trading this personally. I feel like I don't know, it's just not my thing. I mean, they had this kind of line here, but now we're breaking above this $27 mark and it just continues to show relative strength. So if I see anything on the channel, I will definitely I'll tag you, Patrick. I'll see if I can find something for you. Um, Anything else? You guys any other questions? If anything else, tag me in the chat. I know that there's probably some folks from Twitter on here. So in case you guys are wondering, this is we do this stuff for our Discord all the time. We have 3 flow analysts that post in this options flow channel all day long. So basically you have me, Manrav, and at the Ask all contributing to this channel. So this is kind of a nice screener tool that I mean, a flow membership alone is going to cost you 80, 90 bucks. I don't even know how much Black Box is now. But it's one thing to have the membership. It's another thing to be able to to read it and interpret it and see what the hell these guys are doing. So we try to make this easy for you guys that we just post the best of the best because 95% of options flow is garbage. It's useless. It's hedging. It's rolling. They're closing positions, opening positions. It takes a special person to be able to put together what the hell these guys are doing. So we do have this channel that we post all throughout the day, in addition to all the awesome traders that you can see on this left-hand side here. And we will, like, for example, where is it? I know that I did take a trade today. I alerted these weekly puts. Yeah, so they came in with these weekly puts on OKLO, OKLO. They were, Manraf posted these at noon and they came in a little bit later and they kept hitting these throughout for the next, hour or so. And I grabbed some of these. I think these ended up going, 15. I think these ended up like going like 25%, I want to say. So not a crazy, 22%, not a bad trade. I didn't go crazy on size because this thing had this thing it's hard to play with the implied volatility is so insane. But somehow we ended up grabbing a decent trade on this. But we will call out options flow throughout the day. And then if we find anything that's interesting and if we do want to alert it, this is all included for the members. This is something that you guys get all the time. Again, the Discord is called Uncharted Territory. We spend a lot of time on this. If you guys are interested, you can go to my Twitter page And I'll show you what it looks like. We have a discount card, so you can go in here, and then Alex Jones gets you 50% off as your promo code. So you can go to Uncharted, WAP.com/Uncharted. But that's all I have for you guys. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Tag me. You feel free to DM me on Twitter if you have a question, if you're interested. Obviously members can always request flow and stuff in our Discord too. So, we got a question from YouTube. Oh, I forgot we were on YouTube. Thanks, man, Rav. Any thoughts on flow on Tesla? That's always like the you're gonna get the Alex Jones screaming meme when you guys ask me that. Because you know what? Let me just show you. Let me show you why. Okay, and that's not a bad question. I don't want to discourage anybody from asking questions, but look, this is what Tesla Flow looks like. Okay, guys. So this is okay. So this is everything for an hour and a half, basically of the day. Literally calls, puts, being at the bid, at the ask, at the bid, at the ask. I mean, this is literally what this goes on for all day, every day. There's billions in options flow in both directions. I mean, you can filter this a little bit. I think I actually posted one line that I kind of like today. I just happened to catch it. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see if I can scroll through here. Again, those big names like the Teslas, the Nvidias, those kind of names, it's always going to be a big mess of both directions. I don't even know if I could find this. Yeah, that's that's the thing with Tesla is that it's so messy. I mean, I could filter this out and do opening orders above like 500K. I could do out of the money and see what I could find. I think it was this one that I posted. But again, this one was interesting. So we'll look at this. We have this top line, this Tesla 417, $275 calls. It came with 700K in premium. Not bad. But again, 10 minutes before that, they came in and sold these 285 calls below the bid for 800K in premium. So it's like, then they're selling puts and they're selling calls, or they're buying, excuse me, they're buying puts here, and then an hour later, someone's buying puts. So I don't feel like it's super directional. I mean, there's going to be tons in both directions, so I can't really give you a good sense of any direction for Tesla. I think on those bigger names, as always, you should always be trading the chart and then using the options flow for confluence. But let me go back to, he had a second part of that question. Let me see here. He was asking about Hood. Let's see. I know that this flow has been like insanely bullish for weeks on end, really. I haven't really seen any bears in here. You'll get some smaller orders, in here. I mean, these calls are being sold, it looks like. I probably have to put a filter on this, but if I just look at 100K greater in premium, this is nice. This is not a bad order here. It's actually kind of interesting now that I look at this. Let's take this filter off. Someone sold these, let me blow this up. Someone sold these Hood puts, $37 strike. They're selling these because they're at the bid. And they collected 300K in premium to do so. So these are very, very deep in the money. There's a lot of time on these. So this trader is essentially betting that Hood's going to be above $37 by the time, of August of next year. Just looking at this chart here, I think, I know Patrick and I have been riding this thing for months at this point. Let me go to a weekly. I still think that this has a target of $35 personally. I have no reason to I have a ton of shares of this. I have no reason to sell any of them. Personally, I think this is just, especially once we break out of this IPO, I mean, we get through any of this here, this base is just a monster. I mean, this thing has been such a strong thing, and I'm just letting my winner run. I mean, I think I'm up over 120% on my shares because I bought them. I think I bought like 13, like we broke over this base here. Let me turn these really off. One. Yeah, I was buying here, like in this area, anywhere in here because I saw this big accumulation, and I just been riding it the whole way, and just basically letting my winner run. I think that this has so much potential. Another chart that I like that kind of looks like this is SQ. This has a very similar look to it. I think that once SQ breaks, let's just say we'll call it whatever, $80. I think this is probably gonna it's got a lot of time of accumulation down here. I think this once this breaks this let's just say $80, $90 level or so. I have a bunch of shares of this. I know Patrick does too. This is looking good. It's looking productive. I mean, if you zoom out, if you guys ever seen the chart of what a stage one base looks like, this is exactly what you see. I'll just Google it. Right here. Let's see. Yeah, the stage one base right here. Oh, come on. Yeah, this right here. Then you get this kind of stage one, and then you use the 30-week moving average, and we're currently right here. So I'm anticipating we get, will we go back to these highs? I don't know. I have no idea. But I think that the risk to reward is pretty good on something like this if you're just playing shares. I think that like a lot of these names, you don't need to use a ton of leverage to make money on them. I think that when this thing moves, it's gonna do what it wants to do. And I'm just holding for the long term on this. I have no reason to sell this per se. There's actually a lot of charts that look like this, but with the Bitcoin names going, I know that this has like some kind of buyback program for Bitcoin or some. I know that they're really involved with that space. So I got long on this a couple weeks ago, and I've just been holding ever since. I'd like to see this. Earnings is November 7th, and I bet you if I dug in to the flow, I know that they were hitting leaps on this with size a couple weeks ago. So yeah, SQ is going to go. It's going to do it. It's going to do the same thing that Hood did, and there's nothing anybody can do to stop it. 35. Let me see here. Are they still holding these man rev? These January 22s? That wouldn't surprise me. They got so much time on those. Let's see. I know they came with crazy size on these a while ago. Let's see if I could find it. Is that the right one? 116, $22 calls. Let's see. 116, 22s. Oh, they came in like a while ago. This is like almost 2 months ago. Let's see. Yeah, here. Yeah. Yeah, there's been a lot of deep in the money calls on Hood. I mean, again, I have no reason to sell that name personally. I think it just keeps going and going. Oh, did they sell? And they ended up, oh, they did roll. Oh, they rolled their position, man, around. That's interesting on those SQ. They're pretty deep in the money too. Um, yeah, but there were more on that too. I think that I mean, I don't think you need to be I stay up late at night thinking about those SQ. I wonder if I could find it. Let's see. I know I posted them. I'm gonna see if I can find a meme for you, Patrick. Let's see here. Here's some nice lines that I identified a while ago. They're loading these leaps, these January 16, 2026, 2650 calls. I mean, 1.4 million, 1.5 million, or 1.4, 1.4. I mean, pretty good size on these with time. That's what you really want to see. And then there was these $2027 calls too, or excuse me, yeah, 2027, $72.50, 72.50 calls. Let me see if I can find this one. Is this what? Yeah, this one, Patrick. Here. Let me see if I can. As soon as I get off this, I'm gonna end up pretty soon because I'm gonna get some other stuff done. But I have a good meme for you. I'm gonna have to make it. I have it in my head already. So anything else you guys have for me? Tag me in the chat, let me know. Tag me on Twitter. Come join our Discord. Come hang out with us. We're a lot of fun guys. We're not here to scam you. We're here to teach you how to actually trade. and call out cool stuff and make memes and stuff. So it's a fun place. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad that we did this. I don't even know, a year ago. How long have we been doing this for, Patrick? I don't know. But that's all I have for you guys. If you guys have anything else, tag me, find me on Twitter, whatever. But have a good night, guys. I'm gonna end this now. See here.